Dimon chooses engagement, not outrage. Jamie Dimon is doing what grown-ups do. They engage. According to Fortune, the JPMorgan Chase CEO says if progressive Zohran Mamdani wins the New York mayor's race, quote, if he becomes mayor, I will call him and offer my help. Now, he's also blunt, calling Mamdani's platform more Marxist than socialist, but refuses the performative flounce some executives threaten. He's not saying, I'm going to move to Florida. Dimon has led JP Morgan since 2006. That's almost 20 years. And according to Forbes, he is a billionaire many times over. Yet his posture isn't panic, it's stewardship. He told Fortune he helps governors, mayors, presidents, whoever's in power. And when asked about the economy, he recently told the BBC he's far more worried than others, putting recession risk around 30% in the next 2 years. Now, you can debate his politics, but the message is clear. Leadership means showing up, not walking out, especially when the city you love is on the line. What's the real message here? So many business leaders in New York City are panicking, running around like their head got cut off, saying, oh, it's the end of the world if someone is elected mayor that we don't like. Jamie Dimon shows class and credibility when he says the first thing he's going to do is call and offer to help. Maybe there's a reason why he's been CEO of one of the world's largest banks for nearly 20 years. Let's dig a little bit deeper here. So if you don't like Zohran Mamdani, who is for election today and is predicted to win, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I myself have never voted for someone who's a democratic socialist. I get uncomfortable with the socialist label because, yeah, it could be like Copenhagen, which is a great place where there's a democratic socialistic policies, but it could be like Castro. I don't want to live in Cuba. So I understand people's nervousness about it. But this idea that there's an election and if somebody is elected that I don't like, I'm going to leave the state. That's just being a big baby. And Jamie Dimon shows he's not a baby. When everyone else goes for the cheap, easy headline grabbing attention saying, oh my gosh, if this guy, this socialist wins, we're all doomed and we all have to move to Florida. Well, I live here in Florida. I can tell you, most of the people who have that attitude already left 4 or 5 years ago, okay? So if you want to come here, you can, but don't kid yourself. It's delusional to think that any mayor, your candidate, an opponent's candidate can change reality so quickly. May I remind you, friends, that the mayor of New York City cannot just impose a 30% income tax on people living in the city. Can't do it. The mayor of New York City cannot just say, all right, anyone who works outside of New York City or lives outside of New York City and commutes to New York City, we're going to have a commuting tax of $10,000. Can't do it. The mayor of New York City cannot simply go to the 10 largest developers who own tens of thousands of apartment units and socialize those units and say, bye-bye, boys, I now own it, and I'm going to let everybody live here for free. If we had that strong of a mayoral position, okay, maybe you should worry, but we don't. Power in America is diffuse. Power in New York City is diffuse. The New York City mayor has to deal with the governor and the state legislature and all sorts of boards and the city council and the president of the city council and the borough presidents. The number one power the mayor of New York City has, frankly, is the power of the bully pulpit, the ability to speak and be heard by millions. But what that really means is he doesn't have any power if he can't persuade people to do what he wants. Well, if you really believe in democracy, you should embrace this idea of, okay, change should come from persuasion, not just one person all of a sudden deciding, I get all the power, I get to do whatever I want. Now, I made this prediction yesterday on this program, I'll make it again, that regardless of who the next mayor is of New York City is not going to dramatically change that much in the next year or even 2 years. And I certainly don't think it's going to get dramatically worse because of other factors involved. Just in general, regardless of who's mayor, violent crime rate has been going down for 30 years, other than a blip up during the COVID crisis. So It's also extremely attractive as a tourist destination. I don't really see that changing. Of course, if our airports can't open up because we have no federal government air traffic controllers, then all bets are off. But I well remember, and I was not living in New York City at the time, and full disclosure, I did live in the New York City area for about 25 years and directly in the New York City limits for close to 18 years. But I remember when Giuliani was first elected, everyone forgets the fact that crime was already going down rapidly at the end of the David Dinkins administration, because Dinkins was the one who dramatically escalated the hiring of police. Everyone thinks Giuliani did. Now, lest you think I'm a partisan, I actually voted for Giuliani for re-election in his 1997 campaign. I'm here today not as a political operative. I'm here as a sane, sensible centrist trying to lay it out for you and analyze things through the filter of communication skills and personal development skills. And that's one reason why I wanted to put a spotlight on Jamie Dimon. It would have been much easier for him to get on CNBC, and for that matter, Fox Business News, if he had just said, this is a crisis if a socialist is elected mayor of New York City, and we could all perish, and this bank is going to have to move from Manhattan to Boca Raton, Florida. He could have gotten a lot more attention that way, but that's not what he did. He said he's going to call and offer help. Well, that's not going to make him a very popular podcaster if he wants to quit and become a podcaster, but I don't think he wants to do that. He seems to enjoy running a bank. He is seen by many as the elder statesman of the banking community, certainly being CEO for going on 20 years. It'll be his 20-year anniversary in 2006 or in 2026. He assumed the position in 2006. He's worth nearly $3 billion. He doesn't need to work. Not going to affect him, regardless of who's made. He can go out and buy islands, do whatever he wants. He's there in the trenches every day, showing up, trying to build bridges with people across the political spectrum. Maybe, just maybe, we need more of that in America today and around the world.